Hey, friends, it's Mark from the Where to Gays Retire podcast. I want to tell you that I built something close to my heart, LGBTQseniors.com. It's a free, welcoming online community for LGBTQ seniors. We've got forums, private messaging, real conversations, and monthly Zoom meetups where members from around the world connect, laugh, and feel a little less alone. No algorithms, no noise, just real people, real talk, and real community, all completely free. If you've ever thought, I wish there were a space like this, well, now there is. And if you enjoy what I bring to the table, I hope you'll find it in your heart to buy me a coffee or even a few to help keep this community going strong. So please visit lgbtqseniors.com today because connection matters and pride doesn't retire. Thank you.
Welcome to the Where Do Gays Retire podcast, where we help you in the LGBTQ plus community find a safe and affordable retirement place. Join Mark Goldstein as he interviews others who live in gay-friendly places around the globe. Learn about the climate, cost of living, healthcare, crime and safety, and more. Now, here's your host, Mark Goldstein.
Today, we're taking a deep dive back into Friendship Village, Tempe, Arizona, where aging meets peace of mind with Cole Marvin. We have the pleasure of introducing Cole Marvin, the executive director of Friendship Village. Cole's journey into senior living began early, growing up in a small Ohio town with his closest friends were his retired grandparents and their peers who lived just down the street. He was particularly captivated by the story his grandfathers would share about their time serving in World War II, which sparked a lifelong appreciation for the wisdom and experiences of elders. This early connection inspired him to pursue a degree in long-term healthcare administration from Ohio University. An internship with Life Care Services, LCS, solidified his passion for life plan communities. After graduating, Cole joined LCS and spent a decade in Honolulu, Hawaii. And you're dressed for that occasion right now,
Yes,
where
sir.
he refined his skills in hospitality and customer service, a philosophy he brings to his work every day. In 2007, Cole moved to Arizona to join Friendship Village. For the past 18 years, he has led the community with a vision focused on creating an inclusive culture, providing fun, engaging opportunities for residents. Join me in welcoming Cole Marvin. Thank you. Good morning,
Thank you.
Cole, or good afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, we just crossed into the afternoon, and thank you.
You're welcome. So, Friendship Village, for our audience that's not familiar, it's a CCRC, correct? And that
Yes.
stands for Continuing Care Retirement Community.
Yep.
And that's where somebody would move to age in place. So, starting off with independent living, if needed, going into assisted living, which is right on premise, or memory care if that's needed. Okay.
Yep. And in addition, we even have a healthcare center where we do short-term stays as well as long-term stays.
Very good. It's something that seniors do appreciate, and we'll get into the nitty gritty about what goes on and how it works.
Absolutely.
So, we'll ask the first question. What drew you personally to the senior living field and specifically to Friendship Village? I know there was an opportunity there, but
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you
I mean,
elaborate?
senior living. Yeah, one of my grandfathers raced horses, harness racing in Ohio, and so as a kid, growing up, spending so much time with him, going from county fair to county fair, watching him race horses. And in the horse barns, there was a bunch of guys like him, just retired guys that could tell incredible stories, just unbelievable time that I fondly, reflect on. And We would end up at the coffee shop after, have breakfast. You get started pretty early in the morning with horses, and then, maybe go fishing, just some incredible time. And so my comfort level with seniors is and was unbelievably, they were my preferred group of people because they had so much to offer. If you just listen to them and then ask them questions. And one day I went with my buddy to see his grandmother who was living at Friendship Village at Dublin. And I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. This place has all of these, levels of care. I had read in a magazine in high school about the silver tsunami and all these baby boomers that were going to be hitting, at some point in time. And I'm like, wow, this could be a really incredible opportunity. And so when I found that Ohio University had the program, I went into it. It was a natural fit. And then doing internships, I went back to Dublin where it all started, and that was cool. And then I got the opportunity to go to Hawaii, which for people from my town, don't leave my town. And if they do, they certainly don't move to Honolulu, Hawaii. And so
That was
it
pretty
was
sweet.
it was incredible, and learned so much. Went from a town where we all looked the same to a place where I didn't look the same as everybody else, and everybody else was all very different. And it couldn't have been a better opportunity for me in terms of growth. It's unbelievable how lucky I've been. And that time in Honolulu was amazing. And then ultimately, I got to know the executive director here at Friendship Village at Tempe by going to conferences, and just an incredible human being. And when I found out that he was looking for a number two, and was looking to retire within a few years of after bringing that right person on, it was like, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Wow. Lucky, and not only lucky, it's something that you enjoy doing. It's not really, I mean, it's a job, but
Yeah,
you enjoy it and provide all your customer service expertise along with it.
yeah, it is. It's blessed and lucky is are both understatements.
So, what would you describe the mission and long term vision of Friendship Village?
Yeah, our mission uh, really is, we sell life care, and that's really the product that we represent. And that's a promise. When you're selling life care, I'm promising you that I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life, no matter what. Even if you were to outlive your assets, we still got you. And so I think coming from that small town where promises were a big deal, and unfortunately, I don't know if there's quite as a big deal these days as they once were, but that promise is a big one. And so we live that life care promise. We do it in a village type setting where you're bringing residents and staff together as one. We really, in Hawaii, it was pretty clear who the residents were and what we were there to do. At the health center, at Friendship Village, it's not always clear who's helping who. Our residents are often helping our staff. They're unbelievable. We have residents teaching English as a second language. We have residents assisting people with getting citizenship. And, we've got 70 plus retired professors living here. They're lifelong learners, and they're engaging, say, our housekeeping or janitorial team in how to speak Spanish.
Wow.
And so they're helping them on that front. And it's really neat to see this back and forth between the groups. And we really come together as one. And that's the mission. And then the vision is, we want to be creative. We want to, fun is really what we're all about. If it's not fun, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And we kind of run it through that. It's like, is this going to be fun? It's like, no. It's like, well, then what are we doing it for? Because you're not building rocket ships, we're not saving lives. We're having fun and then connecting great people together that we can all grow and benefit from one another. And, I would say we're honestly kind of living our vision. We're doing a lot of remodeling on our campus. We've been around for 45 years. So I often say the village was doing senior living before it got cool. And we're in it for all the right reasons. And so we're bringing a lot of new buildings online, attracting some unbelievable, just wonderful, brilliant people that are moving in. And it's been a ton of fun.
I've been there. I'm proud to say. I took a tour myself, and the new apartments, the new buildings are absolutely beautiful. I walked through the hallways. I've visited our friends Joe and Terry's apartment. I mean, you walk through the hallway, you see people's names on the doors with little tchotchkes by their doors, whether, it's a pride flag or whatnot. It just feels welcoming and it's really nice. It's a place that I would love to live.
Yeah, it's honestly like having grown up in what I would have to believe is as close to Mayberry as one could. The village, in so many ways, is Mayberry. I mean, good morning, good afternoon. Nobody locks their doors. It's like, guys, start locking your doors, But all of those types of things that you associate with just kind of a little slice of heaven and a step back in time and good people.
And name tags, because that's
Yes,
very important to me.
yes,
Because
they
I'm the type of person that's somebody introduces themselves and 2 minutes later it's like, oh my God, what was their name?
yes.
So that's
Yep.
pretty cool as well. Tell me, how would you balance tradition and with innovation when leading a life plan community in today's changing world?
Yeah, the executive director before me blazed this trail, and then I kind of just may have blown it up even more. But when we are doing what we believe is in the best interest of Friendship Village, and that's my commitment to the residents, is I'm always going to do what's best for Friendship Village. I think that part of it lends itself to doing some things that sometimes upset people. When they first did this major campus repositioning, we were serving the greatest generation. And those folks were very Spartan. They were like, oh my gosh, we do not need all this fancy stuff. This is going to be expensive. We just need a buffet. We don't need three restaurants. We don't need a cocktail lounge. And it was a bit of an uphill battle. Thank God they did it because that's the hardest message, really, for people is folks, you live here. We're actually looking down the road. We're positioning ourselves for future success. I didn't love how my grandmother decorated her home, and I didn't decorate my home that way either. But what she did was nice. But so you're moving the needle. You're doing things that are a little out there, like putting a brewery on a rooftop.
I love it.
That's a little out there, and so you've got some folks that are like, but I'll say, in all honesty, we have worked so hard to have real, meaningful, honest relationships. I've earned their trust over 18 years. And, they're like, you're a little wild, but it looks like you know what you're doing. And, we've got 130 people on a wait list. It's like, guys,
You're
we
doing
got
something right.
this. Yeah, we got this. Just trust us. And I know it's a little out there, but it's going to be fun. Trust me.
But when I walked in there, and not knowing what to expect, you say, I didn't even know what a CCRC was until I visited. And I'm like, holy moly, look at all these nice restaurants. And I didn't even, we didn't even eat at the gourmet one. And the one that we ate at was really good. And so was the staff.
Yeah.
And then when we walked through and saw a brewery, I was like, for real? But that's great.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. And we're getting ready to take another one of those 45-year-old buildings down. We lose our sports bar in the demo, but it comes back on the roof. And we've got 2 lanes of duck pin bowling that are going to be in there.
Oh, wow.
That's another strategy. We want to create an environment where adult children want to come and visit, because I think that's important to healthy, successful aging. And if we can do some things that make the grandkids want to come too and make grandma and grandpa proud about their new home, I think you're onto something. And I think it feels good. And I love coming in here, on a Saturday and Sunday, and you see kids running around here like wild animals, and you see smiles. And it's, in the end, it's good. It's good for the soul.
Well, look, they say longevity, community is everything,
It truly is.
making community, laughing, smiling, playing games with, your family or neighbors. That's what it's all about. If you ever, what was it,
The Blue Zone?
the blue zones? Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. The blue zone, that's what they showed. People, living over 100 years old that are doing that stuff.
Yes.
So,
Meaningful relationships.
yes, exactly. So, let's talk a little bit about inclusivity and the LGBTQ community, how welcome they are. Friendship Villages, or yourself at least, has completed SAGE training. And what impact has that had on the staff culture and resident interactions?
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier today. I was letting my boss know that I was going to be doing this podcast, and he had seen some work that we were getting recognized for on the Sage badge and the training, and was asking about it. And you know, it's interesting to say we it all started off with a couple ladies that moved here from a very high profile mobile home park area. And I think they were influential there. And they were the true trailblazers because I'll be honest, we weren't doing much in that way of it, but we just bring in the most amazing, awesome, real people already organically. It was like, yeah, sure. And so I think their experience went well. And next thing you know, their friends started moving in, and it was just this domino effect. And then for the longest time, we were working with a couple guys who would come to our parties, kind of hang out on the outskirts. I'd always see them and go up and engage them and trying to pull them over the line and could never get those two to move in. But ultimately, we did have a few guys come in and the same effect, man. It was just a waterfall of awesome people. And I never heard anything from any of our residents as to, hey, what's going on or what is this or nothing. And then I think it evolved into, guys, we're being successful in this area. Let's do better. And we engaged our marketing team, our advertising agency we wanted them to create a logo that we could use in all of our advertisements that gave a feeling or an indication that we're a safe place for people to live. And they came up with a very simple umbrella that has the rainbow as part of the umbrella part and just a stick that turns on the bottom there. And we put that on everything. And then my team, I cannot take credit for the Sage training. It was my director team that got onto this and they're like, let's do this. And I'm like, absolutely. So that was one of the things we talked about on the call today. It is not easy. And Sage sets it up as such. You can't just, oh yeah, we're cool and put this thing on there. It took us a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's a true commitment. It's not something you just kind of halfway do. And I kudos to my team for persevering through it because you got a lot of other hard work that if it doesn't get done, you get fired. That was more of our pet project, a little side project that we worked on. And it was a ton of fun. We build these relationships with our residents who create this unbelievable pride group and they throw fun parties and we go to them. We did a luau, which I was like, oh, hey, I know a thing or two about a luau. So we did this big party and gosh, I brought lomi salmon and haupia and they had their own stuff and it was beautiful. And so just that gelling, coming together in a real, as one way, it's had a huge impact. And on the flip side, we employ an incredible amount of employees that are LGBTQ as well. And that has been awesome. We've actually just had new employee orientation yesterday. And one of the gentlemen, a nurse, which they are hard to find, picked us because of how crystal clear it was as to how we roll and the inclusivity. And it was like, oh my gosh, we didn't even think about it affecting staff as well. But it's like, oh man, this is wonderful.
Cole, it's so important. So, what LGBTQ seniors dread the most is having to go into a nursing home and going back into the closet. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to do that. After coming out and the hardships that we endured all through life,
Yes.
the last thing we want to do is the last part of our lives. The last thing we want to do is go back in the closet and not be ourselves.
Can't even imagine.
Yep. So I'm really happy that Friendship Village is very LGBTQ friendly and has taken strides and taken that SAGE course as well, just to get a feeling and learn about the community as well. So, do you feel that does the village actively ensure LGBTQ residents feel not just safe but celebrated?
I do. I really do. And do we hit it harder in June? Yeah, we do. Is it a year long celebration? Not necessarily, but the group that is formed, it's amazing. During that luau, we all came together for a big picture. There was probably 6 or 7 staff members, and then, gosh, I bet 15 or 20 residents. And we got the photo, and they got to laughing after, and they're like, "Can you believe we never would have ever wanted to be photographed as a group like this? Like,
Right.
never." And we didn't even think once about it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is that. I get it. I hear what you're saying." We are celebrating in many ways. Could we do better? Sure. I think we could do better.
Do you think the community, is satisfied and enjoys it and welcome, what feedback do they give you? Do they give you positive feedback?
Yeah, it's. I'll give a different comparison, which was pretty powerful when it was shared with me. But we had a prospect. We have resident ambassadors that join these prospects who come and they get a presentation given by me. Then we get together up on one of those rooftops for a little happy hour, and the residents kind of go in and mix and mingle with the folks and talk to them. But this one gentleman said, because you got to come in independently. If you wait until you need us, we don't want you. And
Right.
we say that for a fact.
Yeah.
But the guy said, I can't, I got to be honest with you. I look around and I see all these walkers, and it makes me feel old. And one of the residents said, if you move in here, eventually all you'll look around and see is friends. You don't even see the walkers. And I'm like, oh my
That's
gosh.
a good way to look at it.
It really is. And so I think what happens here is it's not even a conscious thought. It truly is unconscious as to who's what and what's what. And we are just one big happy family of and friends and getting together for meals and drinks and fun and events. And so I'm being honest, I don't know that people even think about it.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, agreed. It's just 100% natural.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about community design and amenities. So, what inspired the newer additions, the Starfire Rooftop Brewery? Wasn't that was your idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, it when I first got here. So I at Ohio University, they've since tamed themselves a bit. Back in the old days, it was a little wild down there in Athens, Ohio, and I bartended. And gosh, one of the greatest opportunities of my life, really, to hone my people skills and get good at that. But I have a passion for bartending, and so I got here to the village and I talked to my boss, Daryl. I said, "Hey, I got an idea. It's kind of crazy, but let me know what you think. What if we did a happy hour once a month? Me and you bartend it, and we'll get a mobile bar. We'll have it fully stocked. I can make anything." And he had a bit of a passion in him for making a good cocktail. It was a little more limited, but nonetheless. And he let me do it, and we did it. And it was successful to the point where it got too successful. We would have lines that were of people so long. And then the next thing you know, the adult children were planning their visits to see their family around these happy hours, where you could get a Grey Goose martini for $7.
I had one. I had one. I was like,
Exactly.
$7.
It became this thing. And so our culture started to change a little bit at that point where we like to have fun. And we attract people that do, people that don't come, and that's okay too. Not, I mean, not entirely, but still. And so it was like, oh my gosh, these two ladies that lived up on top of South Mountain, and they were wildly successful in early technology and built this incredible home on top of South Mountain. And we're coming here, and they said, Cole, we want you to come see our home. I said, okay,
Hmm.
that sounds fun. I'll be over. So I went over on a Friday afternoon, and I walk in there, and they had this unbelievable sports bar that you could tell was built in the 80s. But, so a bunch of square TVs all over. They had a sport court floor, had a really neat bar. And then they had this super cool old school shuffleboard table. And they're like, you need a sports bar, and we want to put this in it. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. We do. And so we went back and put our heads together and converted our billiards room into a sports bar, put that shuffleboard table in there, and people just started gravitating towards that. And it became, I mean, it's coming down with the construction. And that's one of the biggest issues people were worried about is what are you going to do? And it's like,
Don't
guys,
take away
you're
my
not going to
bar.
believe, well, you're not going to believe what this sports bar looks like when we build the new one. It's going to be unbelievable.
Wow.
And so they're excited. But, and so then the brewery, that was just like, why not? And we like to create things, venues, amenity spaces that facilitate fun. Probably get a little carried away, but
That's not a problem for me.
what do you do? No, and I mean, gosh, we have 130 people in line. So there's people out there who like what we like.
So, is there an amenity or program that you're most proud of? Is that your brewery or
No,
the
I would
sports bar?
say our community garden.
Oh,
There is magic happening in the community garden. It was a dream, a vision. We looked all over our campus, could not find anything. Had an architect suggest approaching the city of Tempe and capturing some land behind our property that was a retention area because water doesn't drain in Arizona, it runs to retention areas. But there was a high part, and we convinced them to let us develop this community garden. And his residents have thrown their hearts, souls into this community garden. We have intergenerational programming happening. We have, gosh, half of our beds are used by neighbors who live around the village. And I think, at one point we kind of had this like Willy Wonka thing, like what's going on behind those walls, and like that's where the rich people live, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And this has really opened the door for the community around us to interact with the incredible people that we have living here. And oh my gosh, these people are amazing. And then, yeah, like I said, we have kids coming down. We've got these first Saturdays, these events that are absolutely out of this world. I'm so proud of that amenity. I never would have ever envisioned it becoming what it became.
I'll have to come back because I missed it. Totally missed it.
Come back.
Definitely have to come back and take a look at that. Okay. Any new amenities coming up?
Just that when that building gets built, that the sports bar that gets up there, that would be the big one.
Gotcha. I'm going to have to check that one out too. I think I saw the sport. Is it still open or is it under construction?
No, it's still open. The one, yeah, we haven't torn that building down. So you would have,
I saw it.
January is when that comes down.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about costs and access. Can you walk us through the thought process behind the entrance fee model?
Yeah.
And what do you say to prospective residents who may be hesitant about, it's such a big decision, and my husband and I were thinking about it as well. And, it's, you have to take your life savings basically, and you want to go in and explain how that
Yeah.
all works.
Yeah, it's priced like real estate in that the newer, the bigger, the location the entrance fee that we would be attaching to the home that you would be looking at. And the entry fees at the village right now range between 300 and $800,000. So it's incredibly affordable for people who saved right and understand the true value of life care and what you truly get. And then there's a lot of people think they need a huge home, and we try to convince them they don't, but invariably the large homes are the ones that go the quickest. They're generally priced in and around the housing market price. So more often than not, someone is selling their home, and the proceeds of that home sale are usually what is used to pay for that entrance fee. It's a one-time fee. It is a tax deduction. We are a not-for-profit, and that one-time entrance fee is a very large tax deduction, which people often get a little excited about. You've got two different plans. You have a traditional, where you get nothing in return. So that would be something that a consumer would say, hey, so let me just get this right. I move in, and 2 weeks in, I drop dead. Do I get that $350,000 back? And the answer is no, you do not. And I'm quick to say, we have people who have been here for 30 years, and I don't come to them and say, hey, I didn't think you were going to live this long. Can you give me a little bit more money?
Right.
It doesn't work that way either. Rarely does what I just explained happen, but it has happened, and it is not fun. We also have a return of capital plan. You can get 50% or 80% of that investment back to your estate once you were to vacate the planet. And people do that. Now, it's priced differently as well. And so what I would tell people is, just to keep the numbers set easy, for a $100,000 traditional entrance fee, you would be looking at $190,000 for that same exact home if you wanted to get 80% of that $190,000 back. So, generally I say, folks, if you're coming in when you should, which is mid 70s, early 70s, we've got people coming in earlier than that. And if I'm you, I'd rather keep that money, invest that money, and I think I can do better with it than I can giving it to you. You're going to invest it, and then at some point you're going to give me what I'm due back. And now, if you're 90 and you waited that long and you qualify, a return to capital plan actually makes sense. That actually, I would do it. If you could afford it, it makes sense. So that's really the entrance fees. It's a one-time fee. You own nothing. You own that promise that we will take care of you for the rest of your life. You do get a bit of a tax deduction, and that's it's your upfront insurance policy, effectively. You've purchased life care.
So if you had an entrance fee, let's say on the traditional side for 800,000, we're talking $1.6 million on the 85% back.
Yeah.
So yeah, about double.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just depends.
And it depends upon, of course, your square footage, what you're looking for. Give me an example. Let's say a couple examples, 1,200 to 1,500 square feet apartment. What are we looking at for an entrance fee?
Yeah, I would say
traditional?
You're looking at a solid $500,000 to $600,000.
Okay. Is that more on the 1,200 side, 1,200 square foot side, or 15?
We have built all the sizes. We don't go much lower than 800 square feet with our new builds. We're getting ready, just to give you an example, we're getting ready to build a 2,000 square foot, two of them on the rooftop of this phase 3, and they are priced at $1.1 million.
Whoa, luxury.
And guess what? They're both sold.
Wow.
We have 69 apartments for that project. We started selling in June, and we have 30 of the 69 sold, where they've placed 10% down.
Wow.
And the two first ones to go were the two penthouses.
Sweet. Those must be unbelievable. Very good. And then there's a monthly.
Yes.
You
monthly service fees. They cover pretty much everything. That's the one nice thing about a type A life care community, the village in particular. Once you're in, we do not nickel and dime you. You get your dining dollars, which most people have a hard time spending all of them. You're getting your housekeeping services. It's a maintenance free lifestyle. If something breaks, we fix it. We fix it right. We fix it quick. We're sending housekeeping in there every other week. We're doing flat linens. You get your cable TV, all your utilities, water, all of that stuff. There are some people who live here who effectively cut one check per month, and it's to us. And then we have people living very active lifestyles that are doing, we've got couples that are touring around the world, you know.
Yeah, and this is their home base.
But yeah, the monthly fees. And I think one other thing that's important to acknowledge is every year, about the first, second week of February, we provide you with a letter that was a calculation that was performed by our corporate finance team specific to our community, with a percentage of how much you can deduct your monthly service fees, because they fall under a healthcare cost. And so it's somewhere between 30 and 40% of a deduction. And so folks really like that as well.
Oh, yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a portion of the entrance fee is tax deductible as well as the monthly. Could be
Yes.
30 to 40%.
Yep.
Okay, and
Yeah,
that
but
pretty much includes, like you said, everything. The dining dollars is approximately what, $17 a day
$17 a day and
person.
per person. And so, yeah, the contract basically reads one meal per day. We still honor that. If one were to go to the buffet every day for one meal, that they would not incur any additional expenses. Some residents, our cafe is a bit of a bargain. So they're smart. They'll come in, they'll have an incredible breakfast for part of that $17. And then they will come back for a dinner, maybe an early dinner. Either in the cafe is very popular, but Starfire, the rooftop restaurant, is also popular. Do a dinner. They might go a little over, but they plan on going out to dinner with their friends the next night, and they're not, going to be using any dining dollars. So it gives you autonomy. The old school way was you get one meal per day, and if you missed it, and
Right.
now you're like, beholden to have to use this thing, versus you could go away for half a month, come back with a bunch of dining dollars, and go to the fireside and get
Live
some
it up.
steak, lobster, and crab legs, and have a lot of fun.
Yeah. And anything not in dining dollars not used goes back into Friendship Village, right?
Yeah, and that is a very difficult thing to explain to people, because dining dollars are not real dollars.
Right.
Sometimes people are like, well, who's getting these dining dollars?
Right.
It's like nobody. We could call them widgets. They're placeholders. But the reality is, if everybody's spending all their dining dollars, that means we're buying more food, and we're preparing and more food, which is going to make your overall expenses that you're all sharing go up. Sometimes you got people that want to take the leftover dining dollars, buy a bunch of food in our convenience store, and go donate it to a shelter. That's entirely up to you. But no, you are artificially driving up expenses by feeling obligated to have to do all 100% of your dining dollars. And if everybody did that, fees would probably end up going up a little bit.
Can you give me an estimate of what the monthlies are?
Yeah.
And that also depends upon where you're living, right?
Yeah. I would say you're looking at anywhere between 3,000. You could maybe get up into the not quite $7,000 range. 3, 6. Kind of just depends.
So what I did was, you guys have a sheet of all categories. And so I said, wow, this kind of sounds expensive. But when I put everything in front of me, I'm like, oh, okay, we got our real estate taxes, and we have, electricity here in Phoenix is not the cheapest of things. cable, everything, all the expenses, food. Oh, and food. We spend a
Yeah.
lot of money on food,
Ooh,
restaurants, and groceries. So when you add all that stuff up, it comes up pretty close.
it truly does. A lot of times we don't fully appreciate the real cost
It's eye
of
opening.
living. Yeah, it is eye opening. If you have somebody sit down and really add it up for you, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I said, oh my God, I spend that much. We spend that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very cool. What efforts have been made to ensure affordability or access for residents that have more modest means, seniors on fixed incomes, and
Yeah.
how do you
I think,
navigate that? Is that through your marketing department?
well, you definitely, the lists that you utilize are going to be developed based upon a certain asset level, a certain income level. And then there are, of course, zip codes that tend to like us most. So we tend to focus in those zip codes and narrow things down to some degree based upon assets, income and assets that they have. So it is not cheap to live at Friendship Village, and I wouldn't want to sit here and say that, but I am proud of how many school teachers that we have living here who it's amazing, Mark, but we'll talk to these folks. And Cole, I knew I was coming to Friendship Village when I was 30. I told my
Hmm.
husband when we got married, this is where we're going, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Hmm.
And so we saved, we worked hard because we knew it wasn't cheap, but we knew that was where we wanted to be. And so it's one of those things, if you have discipline financially, we really are able to appeal to quite a wide variety of economic people. So it's pretty good, and the size also helps. When we're the eighth largest community in the country,
Wow,
and you're spreading out a lot of costs over a lot of people, and
people.
that helps us keep things down. And the other thing is, we have an incredible board of directors, and a lot of communities would be, hard pressed to be making $4 or $5 or $6 million a year in net operating income. And don't get me wrong, we want to get back to where we were pre-COVID, where we were making about $2 million a year, and simply just reinvesting that in to our investments to ensure that we're able to live that life care promise.
Yeah,
But man, after COVID, we've been working hard to break even.
I'm sure that was hard for you.
Yeah, it COVID. I mean, we went from making 2 million a year to losing 2 million a year, and that was in 20, 21, 22. Things started to even out in 23.
Okay. Is there any danger of the federal government pulling funding? Do they fund you at all?
No, I think they would have pulled it by now if they could. We do not participate in the Medicaid program. We do participate in Medicare. Medicaid is a very tricky program, and it's hard. It's like a vicious cycle. They don't get paid what they need to be paid to take care of folks. So staffing is usually 2/3 of every dollar you spend is staffing. And so you can't staff how you want. You can't feed people how you want. And it's a very sad state of affairs. And more people are not prepared financially than are prepared. So you got the majority of the people that need that system. I'm terrified as to what's going to happen
Yeah,
because it's already bad.
yeah.
I mean, what you have to do to stretch that buck.
It's going to get worse.
So yeah, it's that is a thing. Now we do have a resident here who is transsexual, and she came to me very concerned about a lot of what's happening out in the administration and the news. Just to give you an idea how amazing people are here, she's like, Cole, if you ever need me to use a restroom other than the one I use, I want you to know I'm here. I'll do whatever I can. I'm not going to be a problem. It's not how I roll. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about this, but
Yeah.
100%. And So it definitely has people's attention and has people concerned and scared. I don't see anything directly affecting us. I think obviously we've always followed the rules as it relates to staffing. All of our staff are absolutely legal. We go through all of the things that you have to go through. But what is going to happen is I don't think everybody does that. So now you're going to create this artificial demand where you've lost this huge group of people. And so you've got less people doing the work. Well, that's going to drive wages up.
Yeah.
And so that absolutely has the potential to affect us. I mean, we had to raise our wages in November of 2022. We weren't competitive, and I think we did a 15% increase for the employees. And probably one of my proudest days. I really felt so proud, and our board was so incredible to allow us to do this because that's big bucks,
Oh, yeah.
millions and millions. And it's sad to sit here today and realize that whole entire increase got devoured through inflation.
Yeah.
These people are no better than they were at that point. I mean, we were dancing in the streets for a year,
Right.
and then good Lord.
And with tariffs, all your costs are going to be going up. And I know you're going to be paying, Friendship Village is going to be paying the difference, if you're
Absolutely.
doing construction and
Well, and the construction industry is getting hit very hard because I think they do heavily rely upon staff that might not be legal.
yeah.
And it's not uncommon to have a group show up on a job site. And I mean, we've seen the videos. And
Also for materials that are not, made here.
yes,
So I know
yeah, it's
everybody.
scary times.
It is. Okay. Let's see. Staffing and resident connection. Hiring and retaining compassionate staff is really crucial to this type of business. And I've personally noticed even the people, the wait staff in the restaurants, they were so
Yeah.
sweet people. How do you build a team that aligns with your values, Friendship Village's values?
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. It's not an accident. It starts. I just did it yesterday. New employee orientation is a full day, and I kick new employee orientation off with mission, vision, and values. And I hit them hard. I do about an hour, and I really connect the dots on the importance of them. There's not a single person here who isn't important, and the importance of establishing relationships with our residents so that we can get to know them better, so that we can serve them better. We can really give them, we get to know them, we know exactly what they want, and that feels good. And so when you do that, they are like, I hear this all the time: Cole, this is the best decision I ever made in my life. And what they do is they recruit their friends, and they make their friends, they're like, you got to move here, you got to come here, because friends make the best neighbors. The same thing on the staff side. I think they are proud to be a part of something special. To have we joke, we say once the residents get their hooks in you, it's over. I'm sorry. I'll point to a guy that's been here for 40 years and a lady that's been here for 35 years. And heck, I've been here for 18 years and I'm a newbie. And it's magic that happens. And we hit that for an hour. And then at lunchtime, I come back and we do customer service and hospitality. And I tell them, guys, I'm not good at much, but when it comes down to customer service and hospitality, you're going to have a hard time beating me on that one. I'm pretty good at it. And I give them a bunch of tools. I do about an hour and 15-minute presentation on that one. And I tell them, this is the most important thing I do here. There is no way you're leaving this building not knowing what's expected of you and what is important. If you're not great at your job, we will work with you. But if you're not nice and you don't treat our residents right, you're gone. And that's not a threat. It's a promise to our commitment to upholding this reputation that we've worked 45 years to have. And they know you walk around, you tell somebody, oh, I work at Friendship Village Tempe. They go, oh my gosh, all I ever hear is great things about that place. I want to go check it out, and my dad recently had a double lung transplant in November. So I am the primary caregiver, and we consume a lot of health care. And I'm usually in a shirt and tie, and they'll ask me what I do, and I'll reference the village, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that place! Everybody loves it." So it's just this thing, man, that we've created this culture, and we just keep it going. My directors don't leave; they get it. We're all saying the same thing.
And I heard really good feedback from your residents. Like they get to know like the wait staff at the restaurants. And when somebody leaves, they feel terrible that
Yeah,
they're leaving. Like, where are they going?
my
Because it's actually their friend.
they are. My two daughters both worked here for years, either during college breaks and summers or whatnot, and I can't walk through this place without. How's your daughters? Yeah, you have no idea how much I miss them. And one of them is actually in town from Chicago, and she's coming today. I'm going to see her here after we get off the podcast, and she's going to go surprise a few folks, and it's going to be fun.
That's great. Do you have systems in place to help new residents build connections? Because it's difficult. If I were moving to any place, it's so difficult to make community and finding friends. How do you do that? The name tags is a good thing.
Absolutely. It is wild. It is this culture. It's we have fun with it sometimes. We call it a cult. But
It's a
so you
good
have new
cult.
resident orientation. That happened yesterday. Everybody talks about who they are, where they're from, what they did, this, that, and the other thing. And that, it's almost like an orientation class. You bond with people in your orientation class. There's something special about that for your whole entire time. But then you're in an area. We have about 15 areas at the village. Every area has a senior rep and a junior rep, and they are people who have lived there and want that position. We give them money to throw neighborhood parties, and our catering department supports that. So they'll do 3, 4 of those. You are going to then go to welcome coffee, where I'm going to interview you in front of all the residents and on television. And we're going to ask you what you like. What do you enjoy doing? And so we've got people out there that are taking notes. Hey, I heard you like bridge. Well, we've got an opening in our bridge group, and they just start pulling on you. Almost probably it gets a little scary, I think, it's for some people. And you're going to have people, it's just part of the culture. Hey, we'd love to have you for lunch. We'd love to have you for dinner. Come sit with us during happy hour. Let's meet up in the Embers. We got this arts and recreation center where we have some of the most unbelievable artists that live here at the village. And you might be doing, pottery, you might be doing oriental brush art. And then those people, you just start building these relationships, and it's incredible.
That's
And
great.
then, especially, I think on the LGBTQ side, they got a group, and they're going to get you. You're coming
Yep.
in, and we're going to have some fun. And they get together quite often, all of the things.
That sounds wonderful. How many residents are there?
Yeah. We got about 900 residents campus wide.
That's a lot.
About 700 on the independent living side, and then about 100 on the assisted living side, another 100 plus in the health center. It's a big one.
That's incredible. That's a village.
It is a village.
It's a village. So that's awesome. And I wanted to, let's say, let me give you a for instance. So let's say I go in for surgery, and it's a minor thing. It could be, in and out in one day, but I don't know. They do some surgery that I don't feel comfortable going back to my independent living space, at least for like a day or so, or a couple of
Mhm.
days. Am I able to use the facility
Yeah,
of like
you are.
nursing?
We have our healthcare center. You would need to have doctor's orders in order to go there. You just cannot come into the health center without doctor's orders. But generally, depending upon the procedure, they anticipate that, and they'll write those orders. And some people want to go home and see how it goes and still have those orders on backup. Some go straight to the health center and just do a kind of a quick stay. But we also have this incredible assistance in living department. which not all communities have, kind of our in-house non-medical home health group. And we'll come to your house on 15-minute increment basis, which you would never find outside. Most places are not coming in without 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. We'll come in on a 15-minute increment basis. We might do that 4 times in the first week post procedure to make sure you're doing okay and you're comfortable. And sometimes that's enough too.
So what are their credentials? Like,
Yeah, the caregivers, certified caregivers.
so they're like, if I had a catheter and I knew it was my first time getting a catheter and I didn't know what the hell is going on, there's some blood, will they be able to just say everything is cool?
Yes, I would. What I would say is that's a very good example. That's a great question. I would say with that, we would most likely have you go into the health center, make sure that you get very comfortable as one can get with catheter care,
Right.
and then get the AILs or that team kind of over and trained up a little bit to understand it, and then do a transition back to your home. If that's probably how we'd handle that one.
Gotcha. And would I be charged anything extra for going into that facility?
No, you wouldn't. That would be under your life care benefit. So you would be able to do that without paying any additional fees. I guess nursing supplies, you would be billed for nursing supplies and things of that nature.
That
But
would be
not
covered
the,
under Medicare, right?
well, it depends. If you're, were you in the hospital for 3 midnights?
Oh,
Yes, you have to have that 3-day qualifying stay
oh,
in the hospital in order to access your Medicare A benefits, which is what you would be using in an inpatient skilled nursing environment.
gotcha. All these things you got to know.
There's so many rules.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
I'm sure. Okay. Evolving needs of seniors. As expectations shift with younger retirees entering senior living, what trends have you been seeing in lifestyle preferences?
It's funny. I still see communities advertising themselves as, we'll take care of you, we'll be there for you. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. It's like, give me access to fun, give me access to care should I need it, give me all the options in the world. We have a nurse practitioner clinic on our site that you could go. It functions like an urgent clinic or urgent care clinic. You know, give me convenience. I want first class food. I want to believe that I am not eating in some senior living community. I'm going to a real restaurant. Give me variety. Give me wellness. Wellness is a big deal. I've come to learn, I guess, boomers in particular are really, there's this thing out there wanting to live to be 100. And so you got, man, I'm telling you, people want to know all of the nutritional values in every special. We just released these Zen bowls that you can custom make your bowl. It's almost like Chipotle, but a bunch of different healthy items. And my God, they are just flying off the shelves. It used to be people said they wanted healthy stuff. We'd put it out there. Nobody ate it. Nowadays, they want it. They're dead serious. And they have very high demands when it comes to dining and dietary restrictions, whatnot. So
That's a great point because if I had my food points and I was eating most of my meals at the facility, I want to know what I'm eating.
yeah, they do, and we give it to them. They want to know all the nutritional values, and it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You got to do a fair amount of work. We have a full-time dietitian, and we're doing everything we can to meet those needs. But freedom, fun, flexibility, it's absolutely mandatory.
Wow, excellent. What changes have you made or planning to keep pace with the new generation of older adults?
Yeah. Well, I mean, taking those old buildings down, building new ones. that have open floor plans, lots of natural light, floor to ceiling windows. The large ones, medium sized ones, nothing under 900 square feet. That's important. Rooftop amenities, the pickleball, the rooftop restaurant, the brewery, the sports bar that'll be coming, an incredible fitness center that is staffed with fitness professionals that
I
will
went through
help you
there.
as much or as little as you want. Really and truly offering that urgent care clinic on site, massage therapy on site, alternative medicine on
You
site.
have that too?
What's that?
You have alternative medicine?
Yeah, we have people that come. We've got folks doing some non-invasive acupuncture,
Hmm.
different forms of massage that are being done.
You have
Just
yoga
yeah,
classes?
just providing. We have a Living Well lecture series where we bring in naturopathic doctors.
Oh.
We've had folks come in and talk about cannabis. That want to get a bunch of people freaked out. Bring the weed doctor in, and
And pass
so
out gummies.
yeah. So we've had a, you know, we're not afraid to mix it up and have some fun with it. And generally it works. Sometimes we fall flat on our face and dust ourselves off and get better. But just, that I tell you, pets, holy
Oh,
cow.
yeah. That's another
We have
thing that's important.
140 dogs on our campus. And that's, you want to connect with people. Gosh, bring a dog on campus. You're going to make a bunch of friends.
You may not remember the person's name, but you remember the dog's name.
That's actually what they say. Nobody knows my name, but they know my dog's name.
Yeah.
That community garden, that has really allowed people to throw some passion at that. Volunteering, tons of volunteering opportunities. There's a lot going on. I think
You
we have
even have an
125.
auditorium.
Sorry?
You have an auditorium there
We
too.
do.
Like you put on concerts and
Yes, we do. We put on
stuff.
concerts, man. We had a Rolling Stones cover band come in and just blow the roof off.
Wow.
And I was honestly a little nervous, to be honest, but it was a smashing success.
Wow. That sounds great. I love it. It's a lot of fun. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, sir.
So when we toured, we noticed the average resident age seemed to skew a little bit higher, older than us, maybe around 75 years
Yep.
old and up. For those in our late 60s, it can feel like we're arriving a little early to the party.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the Friendship Village doing to accommodate and engage those younger
Yeah.
retirees or younger
It's a good
seniors?
question. And we have had, we have a lady coming in right at 62. Her mom lives here and she's coming in at 62. That would be the youngest I've ever seen. And she already has her group circle of friends and all of that. But, offering the flexibility, a lot of folks get something happened. They get the value of life care. They understand it, but they're also going to lead a life outside of Friendship Village. We have people who come here and are still working full time. Joe would have you probably
Right.
talked about him just retiring. We've got professors who are working full time. We have physicians that are working full time, consultants that still are doing a high level, quite a bit of consulting. So you got those people who are coming in and just living their own life and then, but still, using the dining venues, playing pickleball. It all just kind of comes down to what they want, to be honest. I think our programming here does lend itself to a younger resident than it would an older resident.
I do
So,
too. The brewery.
yeah, a brewery. It's not perfect. You could come in a little early. That is a possibility. And I'll tell you, we're one of the only communities that I'm aware of, I think, in all of the East Valley that offer 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you come here and 12 months in, this place is just not for you. We will give you 100% of your entrance fee back.
Wow.
No questions asked. Cole, I hate those Aloha shirts. They're so ugly. I can't look at another one. Give me my money back. Here you go. So that's how, and very rarely do
Wow.
people ever take us up on that. But that, if
There
I'm a
is an
little young
escape
and I'm a little
clause.
worried, that would feel good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I could say, okay, it sounds great. And then, maybe a month or a couple of months into it, I'm like,
Well, just that feeling of
this
being trapped anyway is just a
goes,
horrible feeling.
yeah, yeah, it is. And I think people come to realize, especially if they care for their elders or they do caring for them, for their family, themselves, they get a real understanding of what, a long-term care is like and how much it's really needed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the broader community. So, how does Friendship Village stay connected with the larger Tempe and Phoenix area community? I know you mentioned the gardens. Are there any partnerships that there are with any LGBTQ centers, arts organizations, or universities?
Yeah, so we're pretty well connected to ASU. I mean, I bet we have at least, I know we have more than 70 professors that are living on our campus. I bet well over half of them are ASU related. So we have nice, strong connections with ASU. We bring in what is called the Osher Lifelong Learning Program. A lot of highly intelligent people here who don't want to stop learning. We have a Kiwanis group that partners up with Marcos Deniza High School and their Key Club group or National Honor Society, sponsor that group of young folks and mentor them. We have a teachers association group that goes and reads to kids in one of the kind of underserved elementary schools. Do a lot of intergenerational programming. We love bringing young folks in. Music, same thing. And then we have residents that are getting out and about and volunteering. We were able to get a booth at this Pride Fest event coming up, and going to have that staffed with residents from our group. We just went, and a bunch of us went and volunteered at a place called TCH, which are serving developmentally disabled adults. I tell you what, Tuesday wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I went over there and I left feeling like $1,000,000. Spending time, I was playing Uno with a group of developmentally delayed young adults, and my God, we had so much fun. I left there. I could have floated home. Just the
That's great.
value you get from spending time with people and helping out. It was incredible.
That that is
Looking to
great.
do more of that. We actually partner with TCH, so we employ high functioning developmentally disabled folks in our dining venues, doing some busing of tables and talk about relationships.
It's a great idea.
These folks, they are just the tide that raises all ships, and we're blessed to have them, and it's a win-win for everybody.
That's wonderful.
We do a lot of stuff. We have arts and crafts fairs where we're bringing folks in. That might as well be a recruitment thing, because these people come in and like, oh my God, I want to live here. Rotary groups meet here, retiree groups meet here. It's moving and grooving.
It sure sounds like it. Okay, recently I did a show on a senior community, LGBTQ plus focused senior community called Fountain Grove Lodge in Santa Rosa, California. It operates under a for profit model. Friendship Village is considered a nonprofit model. Can you discuss the differences between for profit and a nonprofit model and how it affects the residents?
Yeah, I actually have a unique perspective. My 10 years in Hawaii, I ran a for profit skilled nursing facility out there. And I can tell you, you could ask anybody, by far the most highly acclaimed, sought after health center on the island of Oahu. I mean, had physicians begging me to get their parents in there when they needed it. It was for profit, and we did okay. We weren't crushing it, but we did good. And so all of that, you can deliver great, high quality care in a for profit setting. You can. And then so the not for profit, I'm very fortunate. We went through, I was here for the Great Recession, the darkest days of senior living, and we didn't lay off a single staff member. Not
Wow.
one person got laid off, and I'm proud of that. And if we were a for profit, that would not have been able to be true because that definitely hit the bottom line. We went through COVID and didn't get rid of any programs, and we were losing millions. That probably would not have happened in a for profit setting. You would start trimming services, cutting staff, doing things like that, which I understand. I'm not knocking it. But, I think those are the challenges. There's a fair amount of pressure on leadership to absolutely produce, depending upon the group you're working for, it could be an unrealistic amount of money. And that's when things get a little weird is if you have pressure to do things that aren't possible, you can lose your way.
So I've heard that the big difference on a resident perspective is in a for-profit organization, if you run out of money, they'll work with you first to, I guess, lessen your square footage where you're living, your accommodations, make it a little smaller to see if you could, survive in that route, and if you can't, you're out.
Yeah.
Whereas a nonprofit, they're not going to kick you out.
Yeah, that I can speak for Friendship Village for sure. As long as we financially qualify you, and if you outlive your assets, you come see me. We sit down. It's a pretty easy process. This is what I got coming in. This is what I've got going out. We add a little more in there to give you some walking around money. Our foundation throws in a few $100s a month as well, and you don't have to sell your car. You don't have to move into a smaller apartment. We subsidize the difference. And, I told you we've got about 900 people on our campus. We probably have 9 people accessing a subsidy in some form or format. I tell you, the scariest thing is out there is these scams.
Oh, God.
People are falling for these scams at an alarming rate, and they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's heartbreaking.
I worked for a credit union doing customer service on the phone every day for 5 years. And every day, tons of people would call. I think I was scammed, different types of scams. And scammers are getting better.
They are.
So we have to keep on top of that. It's just unbelievable. And especially they prey on senior citizens.
All day.
So they do it all the time. So it's a big problem. Okay. So specifically for LGBTQ residents, I guess the village ensures that so many people are just friendly and out there that people don't even think about it as far as going back into the closet or need to, or, it is what it is. Everybody gets along with everybody. So
we really do. So it's neat. It's fun to be a part of it, and I think it feels good, which is part of the magnetism that brings folks in.
Yeah. So looking ahead, is there anything you'd like to change in the next year?
There's a program out there where it's an early advantage program where you say put $50,000 down. You've guaranteed access to the healthcare center if you need it. You have a small discount on the overall care, and then you have access to the community where you could come in and play pickleball, go to the fitness center, eat some meals. You might get dining dollars, a very limited amount of dining dollars, but kind of dip your toe and be a part of the community. You could use that $50,000 towards an entry fee to move in. You could never move in and wait until you might need nursing care and have. That's a program we've went and looked around at, and I really like that. I think it's neat, and we have such a powerful brand that I think we could get a program like that underway. That would be something I'm interested in.
That's a great idea. And so that 50,000, if let's say I don't use it and 3 years later I decide I want to be a resident, I can put that as towards the down payment.
Yeah, you pick a home that's 350,000, you already throw that 50 at it, and now you're just out the 300. And you've made
It's a
some
pretty
friends
good
along the
idea.
way.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, you get 100 people signed up. That's $5 million. So.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's pretty great. What is your future? What is your vision for the future of Friendship Village?
Yeah, we'll build this phase 3, so then we'll have 3 of those buildings that are new. We bought some land west of our health center, and we're going to build a really neat assisted living building over there that is more with the times and positioned for well into the future in terms of sizes of rooms, options, amenities. We're already talking about putting like a super awesome coffee roastery on the rooftop and, do something fun with that. Possibly have some medical professional leasing of space available down on the first floor and diversify our revenues in that standpoint. Come back over, take the old assisted living down, build some new independent living on the independent living campus, and then finally go back and finish those last 2 buildings that are right now 45 years old. And that should be done in 10 years, and I should be done in 10 years.
I'm saying if I wind up there, don't leave.
I've got a contract with a few folks that I've agreed not to. So I'm in for 10 for sure.
That's good. That's good. You're a youngin'. Okay. Well, Cole, this has been very educational. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions for me or, anything? Can you tell us how do we find you or?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're real proud of our website. We recently redid it. It was serving us well, but I got convinced it could serve us better, and they did a good job of it. And so we redid it, and it's friendshipvillageaz.com. Just Google Friendship Village Tempe. We have a lot of fun with our social media. We're on Facebook under Friendship Village Tempe. Our brewery, which is run by our brewmaster, he's a wild man. Starfire Brewery has its own Instagram page. We're doing that. We go to Brewfest. We entered the Great American Brewfest. We're waiting to hear how that goes. We went up to Flagstaff and got a second place silver award for one of our beers up there. That was a ton of fun. So we're just having fun.
I did have a taste.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing everything we can to leave the place better than we found it and make positive contributions to our greater community.
And yeah, I was very impressed and also very impressed with you.
Thank you.
Sure. And I have to come back.
Yes, and let me know in advance.
I have to come back for a visit. I certainly will.
We'll have some fun.
All right. Well, Cole, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. We do appreciate it very much. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Where Do Gays Retire podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast and consider making a donation by clicking the coffee cup on any page at www.wheredogaysretire.com. Each cup of coffee that you buy costs $5 and goes towards helping us continue the podcast. Thank you for your continued support.